Well, good morning. Welcome back to another chapter of our scavenger hunt. We're now on chapter 5. And I believe I got 4 or 5 things to throw out here for you to think about as you peruse this chapter. Remembering again that part of your job is to identify the question as much as it is to find the answer. I'm just going to throw out something for you to think about. And as you read and as you review, maybe these items will come back to you. As I've stated before, you only need to write on 2 of these topics, and a small paragraph of 3, 4, 5 sentences would be more than adequate. First of all, as you read chapter 5, we're still talking about Indians. Indians were very different as you go from one colony to the other, but primarily we're talking about Indians in the New England area in North America that we're reading about in chapter 5. Plains Indians and Indians in Georgia and Indians further to in the southeast behave quite a bit differently. But in most cases, one thing about Native Americans, they're very accepting of people that come through. They're very accepting of strangers. They intermarry much more easily than a lot of other races do. Sam Houston, famous Texas politician, and he wound up marrying a beautiful Cherokee princess. If you've ever been in the area of the Ozarks that encompass Missouri and Arkansas along around Neosho in that area, you probably hear the name Tallahena. Well, that's a very important name in those parts, and she was very influential in the politics that involved Sam Houston. Anyway, as you're reading chapter 5, you might pay close attention to what kind of participation that Indians had with the pioneers and the explorers and the people that came through their land in those days. Did they cooperate? And if they did, what would be their motivation? Did they hope to get something out of it? Did they look at one group or another and said, well, I think we get a better deal with this group or that group or whatever? Or did they were they immediately hostile, or did they hope to perhaps take advantage in some way of these foreigners that were coming through their land? Just see what you can glean from chapter 5 in regard to Indians and their participation with Europeans and especially in their conflicts. Did they side with one another? Or did they try to avoid any conflict entirely, or what was the deal? Secondly, the winter at Valley Forge with George Washington, horrible time. What a terrible, terrible time. Freezing and starving and everything in the world. War wasn't going that good. Everything was there was a major disaster. But it was a special moment in American history. And as you read chapter 5, you might pull out some of the information that deals with Valley Forge and whether or not it was one of the turning points in the Revolution. Did it help shape the Continental Army? Did it make them stronger? Did it decimate them? Whatever. Anyway, you put together the story and determine in your own mind the impact that the winter of Valley Forge with George Washington, what kind of a turning point, if any, that was. Thirdly, Lord Dunsmore proclamation. You'll read about that in chapter 5, and I'd be interested to see what you come up with as far as whether or not it had an impact on the colonists, and to what extent, what direction, and that sort of thing. Number 4, by the end of the American Revolution, many of the traditions that were brought over here from Europe were replaced with all new ones. Try to find out what those were, what kind of what kind of belief system, what kind of lifestyle, what kind. You know, one of the major things you might want to explore is how did religion change? Religion is always an important aspect of the European life in the New World. Did it get stronger? Did it get more fundamental? Did it get more popular or less popular, whatever? Anyway, see what you can find out about how religions and religion changed. And lastly, this one's got this last point, number 5. It has a large amount of significance with what's going on in America today. But chapter 5 deals with nationalism that came out of the revolution. And you hear a lot about a unique destiny, whatever that was. See what you can come up with on that. And the expression, I guess, was used for the first time after the revolution was the American expression exceptionalism. It was a modern manifestation of nationalism. What does it mean? What does it mean today? If you can tie in the religious aspect with this idea of a unique destiny, it might be interesting to see how it affected people in the New World as far as taking their religion to people that believe differently or didn't believe at all. So a lot of fascinating things were going on in this period that's covered in chapter 5. See what you can come up with. Write on any 2 paragraph with each would be adequate, and I'll be interested in seeing what you come up with in this little scavenger hunt. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.